ChatGPT is essentially a chatbot unlike any other. It's powered by some of the, I'm not going to get too technical here, but some of the latest breakthroughs in AI and something called large language models, which are essentially these models that have read the entire internet, and all they're looking at is which words are used next to other words. And from that, you can ask it a question, you can have it write an essay, you can give it the medical or the bar exam, Josh. It just passed those. So never mind writing essays or plays, it's passing these exams.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I could do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella story out of nowhere.
It's in the hole. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Welcome back to Capital Hacking, John. Boom! Drop the mic.
Josh, that was walking into the Matrix. My mind is forever bent after talking to Will Brown.
By the way, thanks for talking about the Matrix so fondly, positively, and talking about bending your mind like Keanu does. I agree. We just walked right into Chat GPT. We were even in Chat GPT. Spoiler alert, there's a bonus session at the end of this. If you listen to the end, you get an inside look at how Chat GPT works. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it with your own eyes.
It's like Capital Hacking after hours. Will Brown walks us through how he created an AI company that is customer service based, also sales based. It answers questions not like a robot, like a human being, but it doesn't forget. It's polite. It works 24/7, and it is a fraction of the cost of what you would pay customer service or sales reps. It's really an amazing interview. You want to listen all the way through. You want to take notes. You want to hop on MagicForm.ai. Actually, hop on MagicForm.ai right now. Check it out, and then click play on this podcast. It's amazing.
I love it. He's right. Well, since we're asking you to do so much, why not go ahead and leave a 5-star review and mention that you learned about ChatGPT here? We've all heard about it, but have you heard the DNA of how it works? Have you heard the philosophical challenges related to it? Have you heard of a company and a tool that we're going to reveal on the show that allows you, to harness its power? Wow, that's a lot. And we're going to get it done in the next few minutes here on this show.
And guys, after you listen, send it to your most savvy tech friends and family that you know. Send this show and see what their opinion is. Because Will Brown, my mind's bent, Josh. I don't know what else to say. Let's go.
See, and if we were in the Matrix, which we probably are in the Matrix, we're probably a bunch of bodies just in goo. We'd be able to bend bullets with our mind and redirect them. And that's kind of what's going on with ChatGPT and the tools. So we're at stage 2, I think, maybe 1.1, I should say, of what's going on with ChatGPT. You're going to need to hear this episode, how people are harnessing it, how you can harness it within minutes. I think you're going to love it. Stay tuned to the end.
Let's rock.
Well, that's the thing. We are here today, Mr. John Edwin, with the world famous Will Brown.
Man, I am pumped for this. Now, here's the thing. So I met Will in person 3 years ago when we were having a Philly chapter Go Abundance meetup at the beautiful Renault Winery and Resort. We were golfing, and Will flew in. Actually, we're hopping right into this. This is like the fastest intro ever. We're jumping in 100 miles an hour. Will flew from LA or somewhere in California to Philly, stayed at my house. We drove together to Renault. There was about 30 GoBros or more. Your boy, the Cash Flow Ninja, spoke that evening. And after spending 3 days with Will, myself, and a bunch of other amazing guys, decided to invest in his AI company, and it is on the cusp of exploding. Will Brown, welcome to the big show.
Yeah, hey Josh, sorry for putting so many holes in your golf course there. I was doing more digging than hitting balls, but yes, hopefully those all got patched up and no one tripped or broke an ankle in one of them.
Will was chunking it up.
That was your first time ever golfing, though, right, Will?
On a real course, yes. Top golf, totally been before, totally. That's what I spend all day doing. Is just practicing golf. Yes.
So, Will, there are several people who are listening today that have not yet met you. So for those of us driving around wondering, who is this cat? And most of us say the word cat a lot. Like, who's that cat? Who's this cat? We talk about cats. So Will, please, you're the newest cat in the tribe. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, what you're doing, what's your backstory?
Yeah, so let me see. I'll start with where I'm at and then do it backwards because I've just, telling your story the same way, the same time, hey, where was I born, moving forward? Let's go backwards in time here. So I'm in San Francisco right now, padding it up with some of the smartest people I've ever met, some of the nerdiest people I've ever met, and having a blast just coding for 8 to 10 hours a day, watching our entire world about to be turned upside down by artificial intelligence. There's a lot of news hype right now. There's a lot of people paying attention, and we could probably get into the reasons if it's interesting as to why that is and that's different down the road. But to be here and to I have a very roundabout, windy path in life, but it's all made sense to me over the last couple of months because I've gotten here, and it's feels like what it must have felt like when they were first building internet age devices and realizing that commerce and business across the whole world was going to change. And so I got here by first, growing up in Northern Virginia, feeling like an entrepreneur, never really trusting my teachers. I didn't feel like they had good answers to my questions. And so took my own studies, started learning about real estate investment just by luck. Went to a seminar when I was 16, spent the next couple of years of high school learning everything I could, listening to podcasts just like this one, and starting to build a model that, wait a second, this person did this person did this person did this. And I didn't have any mentor in my life at the time, but I had books and I had the podcasts. And through that, I was able to see, why can't I do this? And in fact, I think I can do this a whole lot better. Again, it was still crazy. Everyone in my life thought I was crazy. So I do 1 year of college at William & Mary. Like, yeah, this is definitely not for me. I pretty much spent the entire time just in the library building my real estate investment business. Lots of mistakes made, lots of lessons learned, but charged forward in that. And then I dropped out, slept on an air mattress with a couple of guys I met from the Navy at a real estate investment group. And we got together and we started wholesaling our first couple houses. Then we started buying our own for ourselves. And within a year, we had done over 100. And I was like, yeah, let's take this thing nationwide. But growing up with the internet, growing up with video games, I had zero patience. I lived in a very fast-paced world. I did not believe in short-term patience. I believed in long-term patience, like, trends and things like that. But I just like waiting for someone to get back to me. I was just like, how can I do it better? And then I did that. And then I had no more time left in a day because it was just me working really hard. And so I tried to hire people. And then I spent all my time training and firing and, retraining and rehiring. And that was really just a wake-up call for me. It was like, do I really want to spend the rest of my life doing that? Or are there special systems that I could put in place that could do some of these jobs? And that kind of set me on this track of automation that's landed me where I'm at now on the cutting edge.
I love it. By the way, if you guys don't see this video, Will is a young man. Will, how old are you now? Are you 23?
23, yes.
He's 23. So I had the pleasure of meeting Will when he was 20 years old, and he was doing all this stuff as a teenager, by the way. And I think, was it in middle school or elementary school when you were mining for Bitcoin? Like, this is the genius of this man. How old were you when you were mining for Bitcoin?
I was 14. I was a freshman in high school. I just had this like weird hacker friend who was like, "Will, you got to get in on this stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, I've got a life savings of $3,000, and I never spent money on anything else. Dumped it all into mining equipment. It turned out I got scammed because one of the exchanges got completely shut down and went. The person left the country. But the lessons from that and seeing the next opportunity, I'm going to be ready. Even though I wasn't ready at 14, I had no ability to be ready. No one trusted me. I have emails of trying to get all of my parents to invest, all my grandparents, at $200 a coin in Bitcoin. Nope, they just thought I was crazy. So I was like, next time I'm going to be prepared.
So to put that into perspective, that's 9 years ago. I mean, people are jumping on the Bitcoin train, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. This is 9 years ago. This dude is ahead of the curve all the time. So, we always talk about investing with the person, right? And then everything will follow. And that was kind of my motto with investing with you. I was like, he's just such a young guy. He's 20 years old, but the cool thing is I believe in him. And that's why we're even here right now. It's pretty amazing. So tell us more about, you have a company now called MagicForm.ai. Can you give us more information about that? Chat GPT is all over the news right now, and you're the guy who's doing more advanced than that.
100%. So if you're listening to this and you don't know what Chat GPT is, it's either because you live under a rock or you live a very peaceful life and probably spend a lot more time in nature than I do, and I would probably like to model that a little bit. But Chat GPT is essentially a chatbot unlike any other. It's powered by some of the, I'm not going to get too technical here, but some of the latest breakthroughs in AI and something called large language models, which are essentially these models that have read the entire internet, and all they're looking at is which words are used next to other words. And from that, you can ask it a question, you can have it write an essay, you can give it the medical or the bar exam, Josh. It just passed those. So never mind writing essays or plays, it's passing these exams. And it's just because of its ability to do essentially word association. And what you're able to do with that is really neat because, yes, you can have it as the tool people use, but if it has the ability to recall information incredibly well and in context, so it's able to remember what you were talking about or what the last conversation you had with it. For me, I've been working on how can we have machines talk to our customers for years, because I saw this as like that pain of the frustration of hiring and training and firing and somebody messing up and then you having to teach them the same thing again and again and again. We've got limited time as human beings, and it's really hard to instantaneously answer when a customer reaches out or a potential investor reaches out or someone who wants to sell you a property reaches out, right? And I didn't really want to live my life where I was always paranoid about, am I going to miss that call? Or if I respond 2 minutes later than my competition, am I going to lose that deal? And I realized other people probably share that feeling too. So what MagicForm essentially is the form that answers questions. And so most companies have a contact form like, hey, give us your name, email, and phone number on your website, and we'll get back to you. But that's essentially saying, hey, I don't care if you think we're the right fit or not. I don't care if we built any trust with you yet. You give us all your contact information, and then we'll hound you until we get what we want. And that's the subconscious feeling that I'm like, I don't like it. Everyone I've talked to thinks that there's a better way. And so what if you could first have that form answer people's questions, whatever it is, the customer's questions, to build trust. And then only once trust has been built and you provided value, now they want to be able to actually get more value from you. And the way that they do that is providing their contact information or following your call to action. And so MagicForm is a platform that we've been sculpting really over the last couple of years. That takes about 5 minutes to set up, and you train your entire AI just by answering a couple of questions about your business. And you can upload your documents, you can have it scan your website, pull in all the information from that, such that for one place, your customers can come and reach out and get all the answers to the questions. And this thing isn't just like it's not like a library, it's just giving an answer. It's guiding the conversation in a way to build trust while making the customer feel heard and feel like they're getting a personal touch, which they are if you look at the transcripts.
Wow. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We're going to sign off here. I think you may not realize this. This was full AI. We're not here. None of us on this. It's just hilarious AI content, and you've been duped. We're not people. We're AI robots. Thank you. So that's what I think we all are afraid of. Because a minute ago you said building trust, but it's an AI form building trust because it's predicting, in a sense, the next question I might ask it. Let me just walk through the matrix. What if on the other end was a bot filler outer? You know what I mean? It's an AI bot filler outer, filling out the form, talking to a bot, telling it what it wants. And then the bot filler outer is like, man, I love this bot. And then the bots are like, let's just do commerce together. And then there's another bot that's like, I'm Bitcoin bot, and I'll buy your crap with my Bitcoin bot. I'm just saying, where does it go from here, Will? You've already put in my mind.
This is why I love chess, because chess trains your mind in a very specific skill, which is to how many moves can you think in advance when there's an adversary, right? When it's a multiplayer environment and there's other people who maybe don't want the best for you. Maybe they want the best for themselves, which is, human nature. And so how can we weave all that together to society that works? Well, for me, like in terms of what time horizon, what specific things look like, predictions are very hard. But if you just zoom out and you look at, okay, well, what does technology do? What did the wheel do? What does fire do? It increases the quality of life and reduces the cost of living. And when I say cost, I mean input costs, like energy input to get a certain result.
That's all.
And so if you have to, let's say you're running a self-storage business and you've got 1,000 units, in order to do business, you have a lot of customers that kind of get the gist of what you do, but they've got questions on pricing, they've got questions on the contract, all that. And you can either have them, fill out a form, that you can have somebody always behind the 8 ball trying to get back to them. Or you could have an AI that's been trained and is the one source of truth for all your customers that's there to answer all their questions and hold their hand at every step along the way. What that means now is, because rather maybe the conversations before would have cost you like, a $15, $20, $30 per hour person times X however many you need, plus benefits, plus all this stuff. Now those conversations are occurring for a fraction of a penny, and it's constantly getting smarter and it's never going to forget. And so the input costs are a lot lower, and people have a much smoother experience when they're trying to do commerce with companies in the real world. And that's why I'm in technology, because it increases the quality. More people can have access to this information and therefore then the things that they want. And it's reducing the cost of you to provide 1,000 storage units. And therefore the cost of living should go down. And we all live happily ever after in a utopia.
Wow. So many questions here. Will, first of all, I love how you said it will never forget. Like, think about that. You can be on the phone with a live customer service person and you're asking them a question, and they may be scrolling on their cell phone, or different emails are coming in that they're looking at, and they're not even paying attention to whatever the issue is, where you're looking at creating something that's totally zoned in and honed in to help you with whatever it is you need help with. So how did you come up with the idea to create this artificial intelligence? Let's go there.
Yes. So when I was buying and selling real estate myself, I came up with a framework for how to talk to people and build trust as an 18-year-old, right? I had no money, I had no trust, yet I needed to convince people I wasn't just trying to scam them. And so I figured out, okay, how do you actually build trust in a conversation? And what is sales? And what I've broken it down to is, like, whatever you're selling, it's a combination of information exchange and trust. That's really all there is, no matter what the product is. And so out of necessity, I came up with this framework. And then out of necessity of not wanting to spend 12 hours a day talking to people, I tried to teach other people this framework. Very simple, right? Just, hey, actually don't force and manipulate the customer. Just like hear them, let them feel heard, and you're either going to be a fit or you're not going to be a fit. And if they're a fit, they should be the ones to convince themselves of that. And if you're not, they should be the ones to convince themselves of that, and you're not going to change anybody's mind. And that's a very non-pushy, but yet very effective sales. Most people, I found, couldn't do that. And I'd be spending weeks reprogramming employees, taking out all this bad programming of what they thought sales was, how they thought they had to talk. And I said, and then they just give up. They'd be like, well, this isn't for me. And I just see all of my energy just go in the toilet. All of that time, I can't ever get that back. I said, man, there has got to be some automated chat solution that I already have this framework. I already know exactly what it is to do, and it just needs to be able to do that. And it turns out back in 2019, chatbots, you did not have the infrastructure. Their tooling did not exist to be able to take a natural conversational framework like the one that I had developed out of necessity for me to build trust. And I said, okay, well, this doesn't exist. This is obviously a goldmine. Why doesn't it exist? And I have theories, which is that most chatbots today were designed by engineers. Most conversational AI platforms require you to be able to code. I don't have a technical background now. I'm technical now. I'm self-taught, but I was like, that's kind of screwy, because if there's anyone I've talked to, if there's any segment of people that are incredibly bright but don't know how to talk to people, it's engineers, right?
Yeah.
And so that made a lot of sense to me. And so that set me on this journey of saying, okay, can we stitch together existing tools to create this outcome? Tried that, didn't work. They just were not capable of handling contextual nuance in the conversation. And so that had us build all this architecture, and along the way, then serving real estate investors and using it ourselves, we started to realize what are the hard parts about doing this? And then how can we make those easier? And again and again and again, we basically built something that was able to be the path of least resistance, to do everything it needs to do and to do nothing that it doesn't. And then LLMs come out, and I feel like we have unique insight as to how to harness the power of it and plug it into our existing engine. It's just like it's our existing car. It's like our engine just got a massive upgrade, but we've been building the car for years.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Josh, can I ask a question? Can I get in there for a second? Thanks, Josh, for letting me jump. By the way, this is Josh, and I will be eternally grateful forever to you for inviting me to co-host on the show, because the things that I'm learning from podcasting has been super fun, having men like Will Brown and so many others that we get to interview. But, Will, you said something that hit me pretty good, and I wrote it down, called weevolve. You said the word weevolve. We're always looking to evolve, but weevolve. And you liken that to fire and the wheel and how we utilize water. I mean, guys, AI is here. It's here, and it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So yes, as Josh kind of pointed out a little earlier, it can be scary. I'm 44 years old. It does make me a little bit nervous how this whole AI thing can just get, information and pass a bar, and a medical exam. And that's amazing. But, Will, I look up to you because you are always looking to solve problems. And that's how I look at you, like a problem solver. And you saw something here that needed a solution, and you weevolved along with it and have created something amazing. So can you tell us, like, what type of companies would benefit from MagicForm.ai?
Yeah. So if I look at, okay, what's my, company? It's a company that essentially provides an AI employee that is trained and customizable by other companies to talk to your customers, right? So most companies have to do with customer service. Most companies have some element of sales. Most companies have some element of marketing, determining if the person's a fit, then the follow-up process, onboarding support, all that, right? So it's probably easier to say more fit into the bucket that could use something like this than the ones that don't. But what's interesting to me is, like, how does this affect MagicForm? I've only been really thinking about this because we launched about a week ago. It's like blown up. I'm like, how does this plan? Because I'm not going to ever hire a sales guy for MagicForm. I'm not going to ever hire a customer support agent or customer success person for MagicForm. That would just be hypocritical of me. So I have a company, and this is gonna get even crazier in just a second, that sells AI employees, but it's an AI employee that's selling the AI employee. It's an AI employee that's helping you train your AI employee. And it's also an AI employee that's there to help you if you have any questions about how to use your AI employee. And you want to know the best part of it? I code hand in hand every day for about 6 hours with AI. AI is dictating how to build this system for me. Then I use Chat GPT to code. It's greatly accelerated my learning curve. And so if we just zoom out and look at that, what is my role here? All I'm really getting to do is orchestrate, right? And this technology, all the feedback loops, all the flywheels, they keep feeding into each other. The more data we get, the smoother it gets. It's like, if this isn't the companies of the future where you have pretty much an entirely AI-enabled organization, I don't know how, human beings stand a chance when it comes to hourly repetitive work. And again, I think that's a good thing, because a $500 per month decrease in the cost of living is the equivalent of a $500 per month universal basic income. And I don't see any reason, again, this is a hot take, pretty contrarian, but if we look at humanity as a village of 100 people, the only reason we actually have to work is because we needed to basically get food and make shelter and do all the things to meet our basic needs. In our village of 100 people, if we had machines that could grow the food, cook the food, all powered by sunlight, build other machines, there's no reason why those machines wouldn't create a surplus for us, because they could just keep doing that unendingly. And because it's just energy, it's really just sunlight powering all this. What's the bottleneck? And where are our purpose here I think is going to have to transform as well. And that's going to be a huge issue once these jobs go away. And even if you give people money, where are they going to get their sense of purpose from? That's kind of like where I spend most of my time thinking if I look far out in the future. Everything here and now, like I know, like MagicForm, I know this is an inevitability. And I've seen that. And I have people texting me like, well, how did you know this years ago that AI was going to be the thing? I was like, well, if you just think about it, it's the inevitable next step for our society. It's the inevitable next step for consciousness itself and information processing.
All right.
Evolution.
It's evolution.
100%.
So sometimes, Will, we do this incredible break session in the middle where we tease all the different masterclass work we're going to do in the next session of Capital Hacking, because we're going to come right back after we find out about Wevolving with accountable equity and Melanie and how we all do this together. It's extremely exciting. We'll be right back. And when we get back, we're going to uncover all the different mysteries of the world with Will Brown.
Hi, this is Melanie McCallan. Josh and I are just so grateful for the many investors who already joined us at Accountable Equity. Accountable Equity is so much more than a capital group. It's really a community of accredited investors that want to learn and grow together. I just want to personally invite you, if you want to find out more about this type of investment and see if it's right for you and your family, please visit us at accountableequity.com.
We're back. We're back. Now, John, get ready, buddy, because I'm about to hit this guy with a bunch of questions. And you got to follow up on all those questions. Now, Will.
I got my pen and paper, baby. Let's go.
So here, we're going to do a couple things. We have like 5 different things. We're going to do a couple compliments. Then we're going to debate you. Then we're going to ask you how things work. And then we're going to ask you about the future. I hope you're ready. Everybody, it's time to get autopilot on if you have the Tesla. 1, framing and frameworks are your superpower. Now, I'm not your relative and I don't know you that well, but I've been around you a few times. I've heard you do debating. Framing is so fundamental to your skill set. And I'll give you 3 examples in this call. You said, AI today is as exciting as it was to be at the internet revolution of I'll call it the dot-com days of the late 90s. Back then, everybody's like, you're the coolest guys in town because you're figuring out and you're building companies all with the .com. I remember that the word .com meant something back then. And I thought that was a pretty powerful framing. Right. So that puts you in a very nice, you framed yourself right into a very elite opportunity. 2, you said sculpting the product. No one says sculpting technology projects. That's a really interesting frame because you did the Da Vinci and Leonardo da Vinci, and then also the David. You gave me the sculpture concept and you shoved it into technology. Very cool. Mind shift. Then, you son of a bitch, you said, think about the wheel and fire. You son of a bitch went back to the dawn of civilization and equated that with MagicForm.ai. I love it. These are unprecedented ballsy frames that you just created. So anybody who's ever wanted to hear crazier framing, you couldn't, but yet he said it so eloquently. And that's because he's not real. He recently learned how to create a hologram, and it's just a chatbot we're talking to right now. It's called FrameForm.ai, and I already created it. It's called FrameForm.ai. Just go check it out right now. So now let's get to the next thing I want to do is I want to debate you. If there's a village of 100 people and we design robots that can do everything and machines that can do everything, and it eliminates our work, there is a deeply personalistic problem there, right? And you do see it in sci-fi movies every once in a while. You see it in that, what was that movie as a cartoon from 15 years ago where they're all in outer space, WALL-E, and they can't even move their bodies anymore because they don't have to do any work. And it's not, the movies ultimately, their purpose is gone, right? And then hopefully someone has purpose again. It's true, I believe. We were built a certain way as humans, and our whole business is quite opposite yours. Ours is about the soul of the person and serving that soul and seeing it as dignified. We are dignified by our work. Okay, so work is not an evil thing. I'm a big advocate of work. I think it allows you to express yourself, deliver to the world value. And there is definitely not an attraction to me, and I imagine many people, to the AI revolution. So for me, it'll be like using it as a tool, not because I think it's great. So I just throw that out there. I think it's actually dehumanizing, just like the cell phone has become dehumanizing. So these are negative things that we as a society are going to be impounded upon, and it'll become more and more the reflective person. You know, there's that old parable from my boy Apple founder Steve Jobs, where he didn't let his kids have any of his tools, iPhones, iPads. He made them read books and write. And that's kind of a good indicator of the fact that these things are actually not enlightening and they're not uplifting to the human heart. But they're here. As John Edwin, the world famous philosopher, said, they're here and we got to use them. So now let's get back to the under the hood stuff. And I'll let you take over and you can opine on any of my comments. We agree with you. AI showed up. For John and I, it was like overnight. For you, it was like something you were talking about 5 years ago. Congratulations. So for us, it happened overnight, Chat GPT. So at this section, you can opine on anything I just said, but please, you did a great job of explaining Chat GPT. Could you do it maybe with one more layer of sophistication so that when we're listening back to the show and all the thousands are listening, they walk away and they can use the thing you talked about Chat GPT at a cocktail party? You said two quick things. It's ultimately a highly sophisticated chatbot, which is funny. I never thought of it until you said that. I thought of it as like a Google search that can do its own work, and that it was all about how words associated to each other. So go one step further, just so we sound smarter. What is happening inside ChatGPT? And then feel free to opine on anything else you want.
Oh yeah, totally. Let's get there. And I do want to respond to kind of what you were just saying this before about the perception, you know, that you have about these tools and what they mean and how it kind of like conflicts with, you know, your worldview. Something just became clear to me when you were saying that, which is that likely if we zoom out and look at, okay, society, Josh, you had to be trained to think that way in order to become a productive member of society, in order to produce, in order to do things, in order to play your part, pull your weight for the village. Yes?
No, I understand. There's two different philosophies here. There's one that is metaphysical and one that is physical. And I think in your physical philosophy, it makes sense what you're saying. But in a metaphysical way, beyond the physical, no, that is not true at all. It's an expression of your own worth is to contribute. And that's my position, is that we're more than skin and bones. So we're more than just really great computers. Therefore, no, it's not just about producing for the village. And no, it's not just a forced upon construct. Though I also believe in forced upon constructs. I do believe the best and easiest construct that I'm sure you're against was college 1950, where everybody thought college was better than not college. And that construct destroyed a lot of us, right? Like, it's good for some people, but it shouldn't have become high school. So I believe in constructs that are forced upon us, but I also believe that there is an innate nature in us that comes up. So I deal with those two, the physical world and the metaphysical world at the same time. I believe they both exist.
Terrific. So I agree. And do we agree that data entry is the highest manifestation of our expression and of that worth as a human being? That's all we're capable of? That's it. This is my point, that we actually have no idea what we're capable of. We have a frame of reference on what we've done. We have a frame of reference on where we're at. And by necessity, we have invented these ideas of meaning and purpose so we can actually do what needs to get done. And that's biological, that's psychological, it's everything in between. What I think this does is this unlocks the gate. This unlocks the gate for us to see what's going on. We climb so far on the staircase, right? Of consciousness, of whatever you want to call it, of, you know, technology, of, you know, expression of ourselves as people. Some people might say that the majority of people have been climbing down that staircase over the last couple of years. And I think that there's definitely adverse effects of AI and social media and hyper-targeting people and putting them in echo chambers, 100%. But this is about what could we do? What could replace the cornerstone of our identity that currently is needing to survive, and so needing to build an identity of ourselves and a model of the world that dictates and justifies why we should go wake up every day and go do something every day? Like, what could we replace that cornerstone of survival with if we had the opportunity for someone else to carry that weight? That's the headspace that I stay in.
Cool. So what about the cocktail party? Because that's all that people are listening. Everybody who listens to here calls each other cat. and they all go to cocktail parties. So they need to talk about Chat GPT tonight. So what are they going to say that makes them really know what they're talking? It sounds like they know what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Things are moving so quickly here. I think it's difficult to say that, like, to know that I say let me see if I can distill this down into a couple pieces. There has now been a calculator that has been invented for language.
Oh man, that's awesome. That helps me a lot. Okay, keep going, brother. That's a great phrase.
And so we had math as one language of modeling the universe and expressing things and having things make sense. Language, I would say, is a far more complex, like English or any other spoken language, than math. And it's been way too complex, way too much nuance for computers to be able to calculate with ones and zeros until now. And that's a combination that we have enough data, right? The internet is just a big honeypot of data and people using words together to express different ideas and processing and compute power. That's economical and now feasible, such that this could never be done before, to map all those relationships between all those words, to train this calculator how to essentially calculate language. That's the two-liner. If you want to blow people's minds, go ahead and use that.
Love it.
So, Will, what is, because this all sounds so sophisticated and so maybe expensive for companies to jump on board, especially smaller mom and pop shops that, I know what the cost is, but I want you to talk about a little bit because, man, it can really, MagicForm.ai can really help companies scale faster. So what is the cost involved?
Yeah. So in terms of like out the door, what do we sell our widget for? Or like what's the input cost to make the widget? You want me to talk about both?
Yeah, go into both.
Yeah, sure. So what's beautiful about software is all of the expenses in building it. Once you build it, it can clone itself nearly infinitely, but not really. But you can just think about it. It can clone itself as many times as it needs to for very, very little cost. It can just duplicate itself on servers across the entire globe, and anybody can access it in an instance. That's how our internet works today. So the input cost is millions of dollars of training, personal development, building these architectures to have different pieces of data talk to each other. But out the door, because it can clone itself, it's $99 a month, $199 a month. Couple $100, $50. And the beautiful thing is that there's competition and that the consumer is the greatest beneficiary of all of this because the way that these underlying technologies are being built, other companies are going to build. And so the consumer is really going to get to win and the costs are going to stay at that price, which is not only a fraction of what they're having to pay a human being right now, but also giving them the ability to have an employee do things that they don't even have a human being do right now. For a fraction of the cost, that's 10 times smarter, 10 times faster, 10 times easier to train.
So let me try and unpack this a little bit. So you're saying you can have MagicForm as a customer service bot that people can write in, ask a question. They think they're speaking to a human being and it's coming across very polite, understanding their question, empathizing with them, working 24/7, and the cost is a couple $100 a month for a company.
Yeah, if they're doing pretty high volume, we've got it on beta right now, so it's free for everyone. But yeah, it's gonna be super cheap, and that's the beautiful thing about it too is using it myself. I'm starting to uncover benefits that I didn't even think about, right? Because again, it's doing all the sales. So if you go onto the MagicForm.ai website, there's a MagicForm selling MagicForm, handling your projections, building trust. And I just sit there and I have a one-on-one with it every day. And I look at the questions that came in and I look at the answers that it gave. And that's how I'm able to constantly improve it. That's what our platform does. I can tweak the answers or say, yep, that was great, good job. But it's also giving me ideas because of the questions that customers are asking. I'm now getting to see like a glimpse into the mind of my customer, into the demands, into the imagination of how people would want to use this when they're asking about it. And that's not going to be specific just to something that's mine. And so as the company owner, as the founder, right, as business owners, we think we know our customer. We think we know what they want. We think we have the good ideas. Then everyone should come buy from us because we have the best ideas. But in actuality, now there's like this, there's a little 2 tin cans with a string that, we used to have as kids and play with on the playground, that you got your customers on one side and you got you on the other side. And because it's engaging them in conversation, that's prompting them to be imaginative and prompting them to talk about their needs, all with the goal of determining if your product solution is a good fit. Now you get to actually shape and, Josh, sculpt your product offering and your messaging such that it resonates with the traffic that you're driving.
I love the word sculpting. I'm going to use it more and more. So I'm going to repeat what I heard you say, because obviously we own a business or two, and we're thinking to buy MagicForm.ai. And you're saying that each day, one of the experts, let's say we do have a lot of salespeople, they would actually just read the questions coming in and rate the answers, and it would then get better tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you guys have a video for some people? Do you put this on this video?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it. Oh, that's a great idea. Go for it. This makes you want to go to YouTube and type in capital hacking.
Yes. So just if you wanted
to see our handsome faces there.
Devilishly handsome. John Edwin.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna pop my screen open here just for a second, because I think the show is better. We'll also narrate what's going on here.
I think that's good.
All right, cool. So this is their dashboard. Pretty simple. But first, we're here on our site, and it's this little chat widget here. We could ask any questions. We could play around with it on the site, but I think that probably best to have people go try and stump it yourself. Go try and test the limits of its intelligence yourself. But if we go to here, I can see under this column that says knowledge to learn, a bunch of questions and answers that were given. What happens when you don't have the answer? MagicForm says, well, if I don't have the confidence that I can accurately answer the question, then I'll let them know and say, I'm going to need to check on that, or ask someone else who may have more expertise on this topic. Is there anything else I can help you with? Wow. So custom information. And it got that, and I've got a bunch of these, from our knowledge base, which is here, knowledge learned, just a bunch of question answer pairs.
Wait. Let me stop you here. So I feel like I just saw a different language. Is this MagicForm.ai speaking other languages?
Yeah, this was something that I didn't think so, but we put it out there. It goes viral on TikTok. People come in from all different countries, and I learned that my product knows like 20 languages out of the box. I can't take credit for that, but it's there, and it's kind of...
So it just learned other languages without you even putting that in or writing the code or whatever it is, whatever language you guys speak. And that's
correct. Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
That's right. A Pat Hyben. Oh, shit.
That is. It really is.
Yeah. So this just went from 32 million small businesses to 300 million in the US to 300 million globally.
Oh, I like that. So teach me, though, at the top, I thought I saw something about your website. Let's read the cover page of your website. I'll read it for those driving. They can't watch every YouTube. Your Chat GPT, or your GPT-3 powered chatbot. So teach us what you mean by that as a subtext of your brand. What is a GPT-3 powered chatbot?
Yeah, so GPT-3 is the underlying technology powering Chat GPT. It's the underlying technology from OpenAI that's kind of broke new ground that all this hype is about. Yes, and so with our audience of people who are trying to get figure out how can they stay on top of the new best chatbots, that's why we have that messaging right here, because that's what a lot of our marketing is doing, because the whole world's now paying attention to this, and it's very exciting.
It does say it integrates with your CRM, and very cool. And what else have we not covered that surprises most people when they join you?
One thing I'd love to showcase, but we're working on this, probably have it out in the next week or so, the ability just to put in your URL of your website. And it's going to go to your homepage, and then it's going to digest all the information on your homepage. Then it's going to see every other link on your page, and then it's going to go there, and it's going to grab all that information. And then it's going to condense all the information and then extract out question answer pairs such that all you need to do is just click a button. Yes, that looks good. Yes, that looks good. And, I actually want to change the wording of that. And so you have full control for it to digest the information on your website or any document, which is coming soon as well.
All right. And this is actually a Chat GPT question, if you don't mind. We'll back out of this for a minute. And, I've heard other people say, well, it answered all the questions, as we said earlier, in the bar, the legal bar. What are they talking about? Did people copy and paste the questions into Chat GPT? I'm sorry for being dumb, but for those of us who are new, when you go to Chat GPT, which is not the same thing as MagicForm, obviously, but let's go back. We're at cocktail hour now. We're talking about it. It's just like a search bar. and you can type into it. But are people like dumping entire documents into that little search bar?
I would say it's already read pretty much most of the information that is publicly available. It's read the whole internet is the best way to say it. So it already has that information. You just ask a question and it can synthesize that and recall it at the right time.
Okay.
And that's how it was able to pass the bar.
So it'd be like this. What's the legal defense of this? You type that in and it gives you the answers. What is probably what they meant.
100%.
That's what they meant. Okay. They didn't mean, okay. Sorry for that. I imagine there's a lot of people out there going, oh, is that, okay, that helps. Because I'm very curious about the way. So now let's jump into the future.
Just be clear, Josh, real quick, just so we can make sure they didn't take the bar with ChatGPT. They literally gave it the multiple choice questions. They literally gave it the information and it provided the answers just like a human would. It picked the best answer out of them. It took the test and the bar exam just like any other human being would.
Wow.
Via like an upload.
Yeah, I'm actually, we could figure out the exact medium that they did it in, but it's you could just put in the question and the different answers and it could tell you this is the right answer.
Okay. Let's jump to the future then. And John, feel free to ask more questions. But the future is, I think you kind of did a good job of explaining that MagicForm might be like the future, where an inquisitive person builds a company and then goes in and lets the code of the what you were talking about, how there's automated code being written side by side with you.
Yeah.
That's even mind bending, right, John? I mean, I'm like a little confused what you even mean. You mean, actually, I don't even know what you mean. Would you just tell us so we could talk about it at a cocktail party again? What is that?
Yeah, sure.
It's writing its own code.
100%. And so it's not doing that unendingly. It's not coming up with its own ideas and then writing the code for it and then implementing and executing it. However, if we want to talk about things getting scary, I don't think it's very far off from doing that. I think it's a couple human implemented constraints, which is kind of like, you've ever seen one of those pictures of like the horse having the leash tied to the plastic chair? That's what it feels like.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. I can imagine. So many other things. We're going to have Will become our AI specialist that comes back every month and tells us what else has just changed in the world.
You know what's been great about this episode, man? It is just so up to speed. I'm looking forward to it dropping for the audience to hear because it is on the cutting edge. And Will, as I was saying earlier, I mean, he's been ahead of the curve every step of his life. The guy's 23 years old. When I met him at 20, he was already established as one of the leading real estate wholesalers in the country at 20 years old as a GoBundance member. I mean, I think were you the youngest GoBundance member, youngest accredited investor we've had?
Unfortunately, I think I still am at the ripe old age of 23.
Amazing. I mean, wow. Okay. Good stuff. Where can our audience connect with you, Will? Please self-promote, man. We're going to have you back on anyway, but this was just an amazing show.
Yeah, sure. So if you would like, first of all, want to check out what my art is, which is what we've been talking about and why I say sculpting it, because most technologists do this for a job. I do this because it's my expression. It's my art. It's what I get a lot of joy doing. MagicForm.ai. Go there, chat with it. You can ask it questions about me. You can try and stump it. As well as I've got like a link to our Discord community, which you can come in and chat with me. And if you want to set it up or ask any questions, you can use that. Got like my LinkedIn and my Twitter on there. Or if you just have an idea or have a question for me or want to tell me that I'm taking people's jobs and I'm evil, I want to talk to you. As I want to hear your side of the story and how we can better create this world, moving forward. And I definitely don't know everything. So Will at MagicForm.ai is a great source as well.
Will a chatbot answer your emails for you?
I was going to ask that.
But that's intentional right now because I want to hear what people have to say. I want to talk to my customers. But then guess what? I'm going to take all my transcripts. I'm just going to shove it into MagicForm. And guess what? It's going to be able to be exactly like me.
Gosh, I have to get over there right now and learn a little more what you mean by these things. So but by the way, there is a tool that could have done that. You could have had your email being answered by it, but you choose not to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Wow.
100%. We're like, Or we're using capital to hire engineers to build this to integrate into Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Slack, Discord, Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp, all of the places where people communicate with businesses. And imagine one brain with all its fingers into all these different things, one employee managing all of them with split-second response times and constantly getting smarter.
Oh, you know what?
Platforms.
As we wrap up here, I heard you say that really well. So since you've taught the software to learn, you've also put that kind of mechanism is that you teach it. So you're the one saying good answer, not good answer, could have answered it this
100%.
way. So that's why you could have one to many. You could have one great salesperson teaching it how to navigate multiple avenues at once because of that sophistication. I love it.
Amazing. Will, thank you so much for being a forward thinker. Thank you for this amazing invention of MagicForm.ai. Go check it out, guys. Dude, thank you for your, mark on humanity. I know it's already blowing up and it's going to continue to blow up. And I am so excited to have you on the big show and also be an investor in your company. And my kids, by the way, Josh, you don't even know this, but my kids invested Will Brown. So pretty cool.
Congrats, buddy. We'll talk to you again soon. We need you. We'll need you back.
Thank you both. Reach out anytime. See you guys soon. So what is the website go to sign up for this? Right.
Wonderful. Simply click sign up.
Sign up on our website to get started because it knows it's on this and it's the website. But basically what we're working on right now is because it knows it's on this website is if it was to say MagicForm .com, like MagicForm.ai here, I want to make it clickable. I want to make it a clickable hyperlink. And so I come in here to Chat GPT and I say, write a JavaScript function, which is just a coding language that will take in text, scan it for any links, and then hyperlink the links.
Wow.
And it gives me the function and then it tells me how I can use it. And then it says, it will work matching HTTP or HTTPS, right? I say, will this work coming out of a chatbot? And then it says yes, right? Because I'm like, okay, I want to make sure this can work for me. Explain how the code you provided works step by step. And it provides that so I can actually understand that. And this is me learning. And then I can say add www detection to it. And then it can simply say, here's an updated version of the function that matches. And this was me coding last night, building this out. And then I can ask a question, hey, why is it printing twice in the console, right? There seems to be a bug with it. And it can help me troubleshoot the bugs with it. And so what my coding experience looks like is I have an idea or a customer requests a feature. I go in there. I say, hey, how do I do this? I copy paste. I fold it into the code where it needs to. And then a couple errors will come up because it's not a perfect fit. I need to change a couple things. I don't know what all has to be done in the beginning. I've never used something like this before. And so I basically just slap it in my code base, which is here. Let me see if I can.
So for everyone watching on YouTube, we are learning how to code simultaneously with our friend Will Brown, of course, but he is also allowing ChatGPT to help him navigate the code of his company.
Josh, I think earlier you were going to call him Will Farrow, and I think you were just going to call him Will Smith.
Did I just do that?
You were going to say Will Smith. Am I right, Will Brown?
Could you ask Chat?
I was looking at code.
And then earlier you said Will, and then you said Brown. And I was like, he was going to say Will. Right. You're in good company, Will.
Go to Chat GPT and find out if that's what I was going to say.
I can ask Siri. She'd be better. She's just been listening to us this whole time anyway.
Yeah. By the way, what's the difference between her and Chat GPT?
Well, let's ask Chat GPT.
Let's do it.
Right.
This is this will be the number one downloaded YouTube we have ever done together, John, on capital hacking.
Yes, there's a lot of people looking, for what is this? And if you add a podcast title, what is Chat GPT and how can you benefit you? I think it'll be a magnet to a lot of new listeners.
That's it. It is. Here we go, Josh.
And
also heading after that, let's put MagicForm.ai also in the heading. So.
And we're recording now, and this is going to be a killer video because it's behind the scenes. We call it Inside Baseball. Go ahead. Would you mind putting that back on? Okay, Chat GPT, tell us. Go ahead. I'll let you write it in there.
So how is this different from Siri?
Wait. It knows you're talking about Chat GPT?
Yeah.
Yep. It knows itself. Siri's virtual assistant developed by Apple. Voice commands provide a variety of tasks such as setting reminders, sending text, making phone calls. ChatGPT, on the other hand, is a language model that can generate human-like text based on the input it receives. It can be used for a variety of applications such as chatbots, question answering, and language translation. While Siri is designed to assist with specific tasks, ChatGPT is a more general purpose and can be used in a wider range of applications.
So that's kind of good, but I guess the only real difference it's saying is a language model. That's the ultimate. I mean, yes, it has a bigger database, but yeah. Yeah, look at you.
And that benefit me. So one thing I've always prided myself on is being able to ask great questions, which is why I had no respect for the public education system growing up. Complete offense meant, because they didn't have answers to my questions. They just wanted me to sit down and learn what they were telling me. And I can see here, that's kind of good, but tell me more about what you mean by your language model and how that can benefit me. Language model is a type of artificial intelligence model that's trained to understand and generate natural language text. Essentially, it's a program that's been trained and understand the patterns and structure of the language, which is what we were talking about earlier. It can be used for a wide variety of tasks. You can create new content for your website or even automate the writing of emails and other documents. Additionally, you can use ChatGPT to train a model on a specific task or domain, such as a customer service chatbot. This way, the model will be able to generate text that is more specific to that task or domain. The more specific your task or domain is, the better will be the generated text. Overall, the use of this can help automate and streamline many language-based tasks, saving time and effort for both personal and business use. So doesn't Siri do that? Yeah, go ahead.
When do you think, and this will be the bonus feature, John, when do you think a voice will, I mean, look, we all hear automated voices all the time right now. Does ChatGPT, like right now, we're reading a response that could have been said to us, and voice was so fluid, it probably would sound like we're talking on the phone to a person. You get my point? And I'm sure that already exists, right?
Guys, hold on one sec. I'm getting a call from Singapore. I don't even know what that's about. Let's see.
Tell ChatGPT to answer it.
Yeah, exactly.
I missed the call. Never mind. That was interesting.
Yeah. So that's called the text to speech. And I'm not sure if I can, let me see if I can update this here. This is one of my buddy's startups that's doing this. I want to show you guys some of these things. It's not perfect, but wow. Give me just a second here. And I'm going to change where my audio is coming in.
Have you already done this? And it sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Josh, how are you doing today? It's great to be here on Capital. Little hacking with you and John. Are you hearing that? Or is that
no? No, we're not hearing it.
All right, 1 sec. Hold on. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
How are you doing today? It's great to be here on Capital Hacking with you and John. Josh, how are you doing today? It's great to be here on Capital Hacking with you and John.
Is that coming through?
Oh, yeah. We're hearing it. No, we're hearing it. It doesn't have that kind of like tonality yet that you can tell yeah, I'm sure they have a way to synthesize that as well. But anyway.
100%. Yeah. And so there's a lot of people working on this. Once we find one that's really good, we're going to put MagicForm into phone numbers. And so, yes, we're just going to call you 24/7 for sure. Yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Wow. Oh, geez. So this is going to be like talking to a human. I mean, that you could sort of tell that wasn't a human, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably also, if you guys go there yourself, it's probably higher quality than me playing it through my laptop, coming back into my laptop, and a kind of an echoey little, recording studio I've got here.
Well, you are the best, buddy. It's great to talk to you. We'll talk to you again soon. And thanks for all the content. It adds so much value.
Cheers, guys.
Damn straight. We just got
buddy.
We got to the end of another great show. And everyone listening right now, you're the family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.